Hello everyone, it's Peter here, Pet Listener. How are you doing, guys? Hello. So, in today's episode, we've got this HP which we can actually switch off. And the fault was a tiny capacitor, 0403, I think it's a size. So, I will show you the photos and I will tell you. Here. Okay, so normally when we do okay, I can show myself first. So normally when we deal with a no power is we're trying to plug it in and see if it's taking any power at all from the power supply. So as we have here separated power supply, and after plugging it in, we've seen that it's shorted. I said to my technician to just open the computer and get the motherboard out. Yes, it's still under warranty, by the way. It's still under warranty. But it's a business and they have some data on it which they didn't want to pay to the roof to recover, yet they wanted to do it quite quickly if possible, and yet they didn't want to lose the data. So they've picked up us, yes. Hopefully because those 165 star rated reviews. But anyways, what I want to say is, so yes, I've said to the technician, take out the board. He took out the board, and we were using our bench power supply, like here, 3 volts. I've set the limit on 2 amps, I think, because I didn't want to blow off something which could be faulty and then didn't know is it important or not. So I said, okay, if customer is lucky, that's some small capacitor and that's us, yes. And as we've got plenty of capacitors, yes, all over the place, 0201s to 08, I think, 0805s. So so it's not a problem. Plus, power supplies are working this way that if you remove one capacitor, you still will be okay. It might not be still regulated because it maybe have less components now on the main board. But as I think Sorin even mentioned that if he will even remove 5 capacitors from the main board, usually I'm okay with 1 or 2, yes, removed. But then I'm taking the biggest one of the size. And if I don't know the capacitance, if I can't confirm the capacitance, I will just take the same size but the highest capacitance, like let's say 10 microfarads. Yes, that will be the biggest one of that size. I will just take it and I will install it. Why? Because let's face it, the more capacitance for the power supply to pick up from that one, it's okay. And if it's filtration, you don't need 10 microfarads. Yes. So what it is that here, when we've plugged in our bench power supply, we didn't see anywhere, literally anywhere on our thermal camera, and that's 256 or something, 190 resolution. So you should be able to see, and sometimes we can, sometimes we cannot. And this way, I mean, in this particular case, we couldn't see. So I said to my technician, no, just leave it. I'll sit at it tomorrow or next day. So I couldn't sit yesterday, it was Sunday, and I just gave up on it because just too busy, yes. So I sit down today on Monday, it's 18th of December, on the time of the recording, and I was able to find the issue. How I was able to find it? I went across all the power sections which are going from the main power rail to the next power rail, and as I've seen, okay, I don't see if I can see, okay, now it's a mouse. So if I was able to see, for instance, here short, yes, at this MOSFET, and I wasn't able to see at that side, I would remove all those 3 components, yes, because then this way I know that those components for real, are not causing the short, yes. So I remove those, yes, and then what else do we have here? Okay, here. So here what I did, I don't remember why I've got this photo. Okay, so here is this Zener diode, BV. Yes, if you will go and check markings on this, what BV stands for, it's a Zener diode. Yes, so I lift up one side of this Zener diode, and you know, and I lifted up, and of course the short was still there on one leg, but on the diode wasn't, so I knew it's not a diode for sure as well. Yes, so then I went to this section again, and on this section I could go, because here the short is coming, so I've lifted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components. Yes, well, accidentally I moved into as well, but you know, hey ho. I moved them. Guess what? Still the short. Yes, so that's the board. But actually the fault is on the other side. You see those 3 components here lifted. So what then have happened was that, because I see on this side I would have to start to remove MOSFETs and so on which don't have short, I just lifted on the second side, and I said I'll do the voltage inject now. So again, 3 volts, about 2 amps. Again, I'm putting, and this time, because the second section was maybe off, this time it's like Alex from Northridge Fix is saying, you know, lit up like the Christmas tree. So I was able to clearly see where is the heat dissipation now. Yes, and it was small capacitor, 0.4 I think size, so really tiny, 1/4 of a grain of a rice, let's say. When I removed it, guess what? Short gone. Short is gone. So you know what? I left it. I soldered just those components which I removed like quickly, without even checking them or anything. So my technician took it as well today, of course, yes, and he soldered everything properly. He didn't correct its stuff, what I've done, he just soldered what was missing, and I gave him a booklet. That's why this booklet is still here from the capacitors, and he added the rest of the missing components by size. Yes, the biggest capacitance by size. And so then what have happened was that this computer still didn't want to start. I said, check my work, probably I scrapped something on the way. And then he found one MOSFET which was a bit tilt, you know, so the I think the gate didn't connect it properly, or was shorted, or you know, something wrong with the gate. So he corrected, and first attempt it was fine. So that's why it's working. Then we put everything back together. As you see, 1/4 of a grain, and the lesson here is, if you don't see heat dissipation anywhere, don't give up. Disconnect those smaller power rails. So how you can think about it is like your mains coming out from, you know, from the energy company, you know, for the grid to your house, and then that's the connection, like the power supply connection. Now what happens is that that connection comes to your meter, and you've got, let's say, 2 or 3 phases at home, and you've got a lot of sockets and then a lot of devices on those sockets. So you need to start to disconnect all of the sockets or all of the devices from the sockets, and then check if the short is gone. If the short is gone, now you know which socket causing the short, yes, and the rest of the house is working fine. So now you can look at that section of that socket, what's causing the issue, yes? So then it's much easier for you to find the problem. And then when you insert the voltage into that section, something will lit up, yes, because now you might sniff it, you know. Sometimes at one time I couldn't find it, you know, like a few videos ago there was I think hard drive recorder from Samsung, and I couldn't literally see anything, and my thermal camera didn't show anything, but I was able to sniff, you know, and then I've seen, oh, the cable actually was broken, yes. So that's the way you need to follow if you want to find the issue. I would say that's the best way, because if you will look at the bigger picture, the heat dissipation may be so big that sometimes you might not see, yes, especially that when sometimes some components are starting to fail, then what's happening is that they might take some current. They are not killed yet, they are not fully faulty, but they might start to take some of this current. So if you don't set up a lot of current, like max current, like 10 amps I would put, yes, on my power supply, and this would give like 9.96, let's say, or something, yes, because of the wires have resistance and so on. Or heat, yes, and heat causing the resistance, yes. So that wouldn't be 10 amps, but that would be nearly 10 amps. Then I could blow that capacitor off, and I would never know which capacitor it was, yes, unless I would start to check all the capacitors and all the MOSFETs and all the stuff one by one, which is stupid, yes. So I don't want to put too much current, because if I will put too much current, I can blow something. So I didn't want it, so I've put less. And I couldn't do anything apart from checking. So I couldn't check, and I haven't seen anything else, so I've decided to disconnect sockets, yes. So I've disconnected small power supplies, and thanks to that, suddenly one of them have shown the heat, and that's why I was able to find it. So guys, 11 minutes video. I think that's it. I think you've got the point how I've managed to fix it, yes, and how Pavel was able to help me assemble everything and find the issue together, and then, you know, then make this customer happy. As I said, this computer is still under warranty, but customer has several of those computers, and customer has some important data. So there were two choices: either send it back on the warranty and lose the data, okay, or fix it and not lose the data and backup it, yes, and put permanent backup, because this computer is fine, yes, it should work, it shouldn't be a problem. So in that case, yes, this customer can use this computer from now on, but I need to make them aware that if they want to attach cloud backup automatically, they might lose one day data for real, yes. So that's the thing, guys. That's all I wanted to show you today. Hope you find it very useful, and hope you've learned something. Thank you guys for watching. If possible, let's fix them all. Take care. Yo.